Have you ever wondered why your arguments always end the same way? You either spiral, shut down, or you feel completely exposed emotionally and you're vulnerable. You don't like this feeling. The way we handle conflict is directly linked to our attachment styles. And once you know the pattern, you can start changing it. That's what we're going to talk about today. And for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Dr. Vanessa Milagros, and I'm a licensed mental health professional. On this channel, I make videos about relationships and different mental health topics. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave me a comment down below. Let's get started. So what's the link? Why does our attachment style impact how we argue or how we have disagreements in the future? Well, when you were growing up, conflict, it meant something. Maybe it was scary. Maybe it was ignored. Maybe it meant that love would be taken away and you'd have to earn it back. So your brain adapted, not just how to survive in relationships, but how to survive conflicts in relationships. So conflicts aren't the problem. Disagreements aren't the problem. The problem is how your nervous system learned to adapt or react. So let's break this down based on your specific attachment styles. And if you're wondering, well, what's my attachment style? I don't know what it is. Click this video right here as it goes through the different attachment styles in relationships. But if you do know, stick with me. So we have anxious attachment. If this is your attachment, then conflict feels like a threat to your relationship, a threat to your connection with that person. You might over-explain, over-apologize, or panic if you sense someone pulling away. And you try to fix things fast, even if that means abandoning your own self and your own needs. If you have an avoidant attachment style, well, conflict 100% feels like a threat. You shut down, you deflect, you change the subject. So for you, having that space in between, that's safer than trying to find a resolution, which may or may not, usually may, be a real indicator of how your relationships are struggling now. Because if you don't address disagreements, if you don't come back to those things, then the relationship gets stuck in a place of potential for resentment, for lying, and for all other kinds of things when you don't have conflict resolution skills, which we need for almost every area of our lives. If you think about it, we need conflict resolution skills for work, for family relationships, because things happen. You need it for friendships because life happens, and you definitely need it for your romantic relationships. So if you run away, if you avoid, you can see how this can become an issue. What about a disorganized attachment? Well, you flip from anxious to avoidant. You crave the connection, you crave the relationship, but you don't trust it all at the same time. So any conflict can trigger shutting down, panic, anger, or all three at the same time. So maybe you lash out, and then as soon as you're done lashing out, you feel regret, guilt. What if you have a secure attachment style? Well, we know secure attachment styles are the goal that we're working towards, especially if you know, okay, I have an anxious attachment style or a disorganized or an avoidant. Getting to a more securely attached style is the goal and can happen. Your attachment style can change with consistency and effort in time. If this is your attachment style, then conflict is uncomfortable, but it's not terrifying. And it's not something that you run away from. You can express your needs, but you can also listen to the other person. And you can repair without losing your sense of self or self-worth. So let's say you're a part of the insecure attachment style group. That's fine. Here's what you can do to work on this. I want you to acknowledge what your patterns are in your relationships. So you got to be able to say, okay, listen, when disagreements happen, when conflict arises, I'm not trying to be there. I'm not trying to be there. I shut down, or I withdraw, or I people please. Name it. Put a name behind it. Actually pinpoint the cycle that happens for you. Because when you do that, you're acknowledging your part, your role in those conflicts. You can actually verbalize this to your partner or within your friendships if the conflicts arise there. So for instance, explaining to them, okay, if you see me doing this, it's not because I don't care. It's because it's too much for me. It's too overwhelming. You're not too much. It's just the sense of heightened emotion, whether it's anger or sadness. Those big emotions tend to be a lot for me to handle in the moment. So I withdraw. That's what I do. It's not healthy. It's not good. But this is what I do. I know it, but I can also openly share it because you're important to me enough to share these things. Lastly, you got to actually start to work on it, because it's one thing to say, oh yeah, this is what I do. This is my attachment style. This is how I behave in conflict, and then still choose to not work on it and continue in those negative cycles. At that point, that's a choice to stay in there and not healthy. But when you can name the pattern, name the cycle, and vocalize that to your partner, this reduces the shame. It allows you to practice vulnerability, especially if this is something that you struggle with. And it makes room for compassion, not for judgment. People are scared of and judge what they don't know and what they don't understand. And if they really care about you, they'll try to understand the same way you hopefully will do with them. And if not, then that tells you something else as well about the relationship or the friendship. Number 2, and I don't hear many people talk about this, but this is something that you could definitely try. It's not about making the conflict go away or just trying to overly apologize or let's get this over with, let's just move on. That's going to be too much. The other person is probably going to sense that, and they're not going to want to get through the conflict resolution with you. So instead, here's what I want you to do. I want you to try slowly repairing things. So for instance, let's say you're triggered or your emotions are heightened. And you're like, okay, I need a minute. I need some time. Vocalize that to your partner. Take the time, but then come back to the conversation at hand. And even if it's not completely resolved that day, agree that you guys will get back to the conversation another day. Even in friendships, things happen. And one conversation doesn't always repair all the hurt and the damage that's been done. So if you can agree to say, okay, let's meet up for a cup of coffee next time and we'll talk about this again. Or openly say, hey, if I know we've talked about this already, but if you're ever feeling some type of way, can we agree to talk about it? And I'll do the same. And sticking true to that moving forward. And the last tip is for those who are actively working on learning how to be in conflict or be in disagreements and find healthy ways to get through it instead of withdrawing. If that's you, then this is going to be helpful for you. In those moments that you're having a disagreement or a discussion where you both are not seeing eye to eye, I want you to practice some grounding techniques that are going to help your body know that you're safe. Yes, this is anxiety provoking potentially. This may provoke some anger within you, sadness, something's coming up for you. But overall, I know that I'm safe. I know that I am not in any real danger. And I can get through these big emotions that I'm feeling. I can talk about my needs, and whether they choose to hear me or not, that's on them. But I can control me and I am safe. It's important to remember that having conflict, having disagreement isn't a sign that the relationship or the friendship is failing. And that's initially what a lot of us believe. That's the fear. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to fix it. I don't want to do anything except just get things back to the way they were. Sometimes that's not possible. And it's important to acknowledge that. And remember that disagreements are going to happen no matter what, unless you don't have a relationship or friendship or they're just an acquaintance. However, conflict, disagreements, it gives you a chance and the other person a chance to learn how to understand more about each other, to give grace, to deepen your relationship, to have and share vulnerability. And your nervous system, it might still be stuck in survival mode, but with self-awareness and practice of these tips and others, you can actually learn how to grow out of that and get to a more securely attached place. And you can handle conflict without fear, without shutting down, and without regret. If you're someone who's working through how to have disagreements in healthy ways and conflict in healthy ways and not run away from it, what are you trying that's actually working? Or what are you planning on trying within your relationships and friendships? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great one.